Hi, I'm Matthew Buzzy, and I'm here with the 2020 version of the Razer Blade Pro 17, the largest laptop in Razer's Blade laptop stable. The design is a lot like we saw last year. Not much has changed on the exterior, and you could be forgiven for mixing up the two. This is about some component updates and some feature updates to make this already good laptop better. To start on the exterior, it is 6.06 pounds, so it's hefty 17-inch laptop, especially gaming. You know you're going to get probably a heavier sort of laptop, and this definitely is heavier than a lot of the thin 15-inch laptops that have come out. But 6 pounds is okay for 17 inches. There's some that are 10, 9, even up to 12 pounds. So relatively speaking, 6 is okay. It's still 0.7 inches thick. It's relatively thin, again, for the category that it is, but the same metal, sleek aluminum build, the full metal chassis, is really one of the best features of this laptop, and that is back here, even if it's in a little heftier package than the Razer Blade 15. That means the rest of the build we know and love is also back. That includes per-key RGB lighting, one of the best touchpads on any Windows laptop available, in my opinion. And again, the metal build and the thin bezels on the display that sort of make this the modern, sleek, more square look that Razer's gone with in their past few iterations of all their Blade laptops. One of the key features that Razer did add that you might not notice at a glance is the refresh rate of the display. This is up to 300 hertz now, so that's definitely for enthusiast gamers. This laptop as a whole, let's face it, is for enthusiast gamers. Rounding out this nice physical build are the ports, which include 3 standard USB-A ports, 2 USB-C ports, one of which has Thunderbolt 3 support, an Ethernet jack even, and an HDMI connection. The battery life on this laptop is also good, 7 hours on a rundown test, which is better than most of the category. That won't compete with the best ultra portables that last 15, even 20 hours, but in the gaming category, 2, 3, 4 hours are pretty common. They've gotten a bit better. We see some 5, 6, 7, and this is definitely in the upper tier range at 7 hours. So not the most portable laptop at 6 pounds and 17 inches, won't fit into every bag, but it's portable enough if you have to. If not your daily commute partner maybe, but you take it on a trip, use it outside of your home or even just another room of your home for a while without dying. It's a nice bonus. And while the premium exterior is definitely part of what adds up to this big price tag for this laptop, the components are just as much of a factor. There are 3 models of this. We have the mid-tier model. The base model starts at $25.99, which, so off the bat, an expensive laptop, no doubt. This is a premium machine. It's aimed at high-end gamers. Know what you're getting into going in. This is thinner and nicer than most 17-inch laptops. Even among hardcore 17-inch gaming laptops, this is the cream of the crop. So high starting price going in. You kind of have to accept that if you're shopping in this price point to begin with. Now, taking that concept even further is that ours is the mid-tier model, so it's even more expensive at $31.99. Obviously, you get even better components than the base model. This includes an Intel Core i7 CPU, an NVIDIA RTX 2080 Super Max-Q, so top-of-the-line laptop GPU, which is a significant part of this cost. Joining that are 16 gigabytes of RAM and a 512 gigabyte SSD. That storage capacity for me, not great. It's a little low. I think 17-inch laptop, you generally think bigger storage. If it's less mobile, it feels like it should have more storage, even though a big and a small laptop can fit an SSD. That's just more of a feel thing, maybe because old 17-inch laptops used to have big hard drives. So I'm a little disappointed for 512 gigabytes. That's fine for a lot of systems. Gaming machines, that's really limited these days. That'll barely fit. Call of Duty on its own is enormous. There's a lot of games that are really big and take up a lot of storage. So 512 for such an expensive machine. It is user upgradable, but I really feel like at this price point you should get more storage than that. Now, for that price and with those components, you do get top-of-the-line performance. There are some 17-inch laptops that have Core i9 processors that I compared this to, and similar GPUs, either the same or a step below, or the non-Max-Q version of the RTX 2080. But generally speaking, even among those better machines, this is one of the top performers at 17 inches, period. There's a couple that performed 5 to 10 frames better, but especially considering how thin this one is, over 100 frames on the AAA games we tested, 126 frames per second at 1080p on maximum settings on Rise of the Tomb Raider. That's a fairly demanding AAA game, and that's a lot of frames per second. So that might not make use of the 300 hertz display. If it was a 140 hertz display and it was hitting 120 something frames per second, you might say, all right, yeah, that's topping it out. Again, like I said, the 300 hertz frames, 300 hertz screen rather, is not meant for that type of game. But on that note, I also texted Rainbow Six Siege, which has a built-in benchmark, and that represents sort of the competitive multiplayer type of game where you'd want those higher frame rates. And it did reach over 200 frames per second on various settings of low and high, went over 200 frames per second. on the benchmark, so that actually clearly does make use of the 300 hertz screen. You might, again, not think anyone needs that many frames per second, but some people out there do, they care, and it does make a bit of a difference for competitive gaming. So the hardware can actually push that many frames to make use of that screen, which at first probably sounded like, what games even hit that? Well, it's games like Rainbow Six, like Counter-Strike and things like that. Related to that, this laptop does have other performance modes. It's by default in balance, which is automatic. That means the fan speeds will adjust to whatever you're doing, whether you're playing a game or you're idling on the desktop, it'll adjust the fan RPM accordingly. You can also manually set the RPM to a specific number. So if you want to rev them all the time, better performance, go for it. The fans on average, when you're idling on the desktop or running a couple programs, audible, not too loud. If you're not doing much, they're pretty quiet. When you're gaming, above average fan noise, I'd say. I think they're doing a lot of work in this thin chassis with less room for cooling. I think they're working a bit of overtime. And making that worse is when you set the either fan RPM to maximum or use the custom mode and set the CPU and GPU to maximum output. Then the fans get really loud. Distractingly so, I think the laptop sounds like it's going to take off, essentially. Really loud, pretty distracting, probably can hear it through your headphones, and really, at the end of the day, the frame rate games were around 5 to 10 frames per second, depending on the game. Maybe not worth it for so much fan noise and more heat. I'd probably just leave it on balance and set it and forget it, but if you really like your frames, you really are a performance enthusiast, the option is there. So the fan noise, a bit hit and miss on this. I think on average it's okay, but it's definitely a bit louder than average. So I think overall, if you're someone who ever wants to take your 17-inch gaming laptop with you anywhere, and you don't intend to just use it as a desktop all the time, having the portability, both in the terms of the design and battery life, are really appealing for this system. On top of that, when it is staying put, when you are playing games, top-end performance will run everything, no problem. So really a compelling package all around, and we like to see this improved version of a laptop that we already liked from Razer. Check out the full written review on PCMag.com for more details about CPU benchmarks, game performance, and all of my thoughts. Thanks for viewing.